Subaru WRX Project Midnight was a star at Goodwood. Here's why. A behind-the-paddock-rope look at Subaru's crazy hill climb monster. Subaru WRX Project Midnight Action Front 3/4. View 28 photos. There was apparently some resistance, somewhere upstairs in the Subaru hierarchy, to the Project Midnight livery, all black. With an emphasis on all. Apparently. It was hard to see the wisdom in not being able to see the resplendent blue and yellow emblems of the Subaru brand on what is, at its core, a brand-enhancing exercise. There were apparently 45 or so back and forths about possible livery designs, including more conventional ones, but ultimately the pure murdered-out approach was taken. It was a good choice. In the high-speed parade that is the Goodwood Festival of Speed Hill Climb, the seemingly endless stream of race cars and other brand exercises are inevitably festooned in advertisements galore. It all just blends together in one visually overwhelming blur. By contrast, the Subaru WRX Project Midnight stood out as being one of one by going in the exact opposite direction. There was no mistaking it for something other than the mightiest and most over-the-top of Subaru WRXs. And just in case it was hard to see the stock WRX hiding somewhere beneath the carbon fiber aerodynamic body extensions and a wing larger than some produced by Embraer. There are still gloss black Subaru Motorsports emblems about to break up the matte black and bare, unvarnished carbon fiber. It's really cool. And judging by the constant crowd around its corner paddock spot, that's not a rare opinion. Although Project Midnight will live to see other adventures. It was primarily created to achieve the fastest time up the Duke of Richmond's driveway at Goodwood. The all-time record was basically not possible. The McMurtry Sperling literally sucked so much. It set a time that was effectively deemed too dangerous to chase in the future. It's no longer allowed to compete in the day's shootout, but did get a chance to repeatedly run up the hill. And it's bonkers. Anyway, Project Midnight was among the favorites to take the crown with Scott Speed behind the wheel. As the weekend went on and multiple practice runs were completed, Speed simultaneously got to know the car and course. It was his first time running the hill climb. According to technical director Janus Loizen, each run provided a bit more information, yielded more feedback from Speed, with adjustments made accordingly, such as turning up boost and other engine parameters to increase power. Each subsequent run also shaved off seconds until it sat at 45.15 with the penultimate run Sunday morning. That was a mere 0.6 of a second off the pace of the Ford Supervan, the electric. Vaguely van-like conveyance driven by Alain Dumas that was derived from the one that went up Pikes Peak. Despite the narrow margin between the two, it sure felt being around the Subaru team that it seemed like they were much larger underdogs. Project Midnight is not electric, Loizen said while giving us a tour of his creation. We can't push a button and get 400 horsepower more. He said it matter-of-factly, and not entirely throwing shade at the Supervan. Or maybe he was, I don't know, he speaks with a French accent. But there was a definite degree of resignation to the fact Project Midnight may not be taking this one. We want to get 45 seconds the zero-nonsense Speed said when asked if there was a time he was shooting for. But with conditions, I don't make promises. Prophetic words it would seem. As you can see at the very beginning of the above video, Speed seemed to have some issue under braking that got the car squirrely and therefore losing, Speed too soon heading into the tricky corner known as Molcombe. It's the braking zone after the run's first quasi-straight. So perhaps it's not surprising that an issue could arise there in a new car with tires, brakes that perhaps got a bit cold after several prolonged stoppages, Travis Pastrana crashing his Subaru GL. Wagon Huckster certainly didn't help on that front. Whatever the reason, it likely contributed to the final run actually being slower than the previous one at 46.07. Bummer. But any disappointment was quickly tempered when the supervan immediately set off thereafter and blitzed past its previous time to win the day at 43.98. Project Midnight probably didn't have that in it. Even with the slower Speed, though, it still came in second. So what exactly is Project Midnight? Join me now in the paddock for a tour of its various totally wild components. The engine and many of the upgrades are either derived from or brought over nearly unchanged from Subaru Motorsports rallycross car. It is a 2.0-liter boxer 4-cylinder turbocharged and intercooled to produce approximately 670 horsepower and 680 pound-feet of torque. It revs to 9,500. Checks notes. Yes, it would seem that is quite a bit more on all fronts than